My girlfriend marries my ex and humiliates me in front of everyone during the wedding. I am feeling overwhelmed right now, but I need to sort through my thoughts. When I was 5 years old, my family moved, and our neighbors had a girl my age named Bella. We quickly became close friends and grew up together. Our families were also very close. After I went off to college a few hours away, Bella and I stayed connected. She would often visit me, and we always had a great time together. In college, I met Barrett in an economics class during my sophomore year. We discovered that we had many mutual friends and ended up casually hooking up a few times after studying together. Although we realized there was no long-term chemistry between us, we remained friends and never pursued a romantic relationship. After that, we weren't as close, but we still saw each other at parties and were part of the same group text threads. I introduced Bella to Barrett at a party during our senior year, and they hit it off immediately. Bella was curious about our history, and although she seemed upset about our past, I reassured her that there were no lingering romantic feelings between us and gave her my blessing to pursue Barrett. They began dating after a few months, and Bella was over the moon with happiness. I was genuinely happy for her. After I graduated, I accepted a job 6 hours away from home. Bella and Barrett eventually moved in together in our hometown, and I visited them frequently at first. However, life got busy, and we ended up seeing each other only once a year during holidays. On Christmas Eve last year, my family and I hosted a joyous gathering with our close friends, the Barretts. During the celebration, Barrett proposed to Bella in a touching and heartfelt manner, leaving everyone overjoyed for the couple. Bella was elated and immediately delved into planning for their upcoming wedding. We spent countless hours brainstorming ideas and relishing in the excitement of her impending nuptials. However, as time passed, I anticipated being formally asked to be Bella's maid of honor, as she had hinted at during the holidays. To my surprise, the request never came. I noticed that Bella began avoiding my calls, leaving me feeling perplexed and hurt. Eventually, I received a save the date in the mail without any prior communication about my role in the wedding. I decided to reach out to Bella and inquire about it directly. To my dismay, Bella explained that she had thought it over and didn't believe I should be part of her bridal party due to my distance from her. She expressed concerns about coordinating events with me being far away and decided to make her cousin, whom she wasn't particularly close to, her maid of honor instead. This revelation deeply wounded me, as I considered myself her oldest and closest friend. I reminded her of the efforts I would make to participate in her special day, including taking time off work and purchasing plane tickets. However, she dismissed my offer. During our conversation, Bella also inquired about whether I would be bringing a guest to the wedding. I found this puzzling given that she was aware of my recent breakup. I informed her that I would likely attend solo since I wasn't currently seeing anyone. Bella assured me that she would keep an open invitation for a plus one until the last moment and encouraged me to find a date so that I wouldn't feel lonely. While I appreciated her gesture, I reassured her that I would be fine attending the wedding without a date, considering the presence of my family and numerous mutual friends from our college and hometown. The following months went by uneventfully. I didn't hear much from Bella, and although I could have reached out more, I was still feeling a bit hurt about not being asked to be in her wedding party. I also noticed on social media that she had an engagement party that I wasn't invited to. It stung, but I didn't bring it up, assuming we were just growing apart. Then, 6 weeks before the wedding, Bella called me. She explained that one of her bridesmaids had dropped out and asked if I could step in. While I wouldn't be able to attend the pre-wedding events, I was thrilled to accept the invitation to be part of the wedding party. Bella mentioned that she had chosen a unique color scheme where everyone would be wearing white, except for her and the groom who would be in black. It was an unusual choice, but not unexpected given Bella's unconventional taste. She apologized for the short notice and asked if I could find a white dress in time. Fortunately, I already had a suitable white slip dress and sent her a photo to confirm if it would work. She approved it during our call and confirmed it with a thumbs up in our text conversation. This detail would become significant later. The wedding was scheduled for noon, and we were supposed to meet at the venue at 8 a.m. for hair and makeup. I left my parents' house early and arrived in casual clothes, carrying my dress and a bag. I was excited to see Bella and the other girls, and we had a great time drinking champagne and getting ready together. About 2 hours before the ceremony, Bella asked us to put on our dresses for some photos. I grabbed my bag and went to the bathroom to change and touch up my makeup. When I returned to the room, all the other bridesmaids were wearing blue dresses while I was the only one in white. I felt a sinking feeling in my stomach as I remembered my conversation with Bella. I was sure she had specified white. I had even double-checked online. This wasn't a mistake, it was intentional. Bella stood in the middle of the room in her bathrobe with a resigned expression on her face. She said to her cousin, "I knew she was going to pull something like this." Her cousin came up to me and asked what I was wearing. I stammered that Bella had told me to wear white. Bella didn't flinch. She looked at me with a scoffing laugh and accused me of trying to make the day all about myself. Then her cousin started shouting at me, accusing me of being jealous, in love with Barrett, and completely out of control. I was so shocked by how quickly everything had turned from good to bad that I couldn't even find the words to defend myself. After a moment of hesitation, I managed to stammer that I had an extra dress at my parents' house and could go home to change. Bella's response was chilling. "I think we both know that this is the end of our friendship. I've given you too many chances. It's time for you to go." Tears welled up in my eyes as I struggled to comprehend what was happening. My legs finally found their strength and I fled the scene, leaving all my belongings behind and rushing home in my white dress, sobbing. Soon after, my phone was inundated with messages from almost everyone I knew, accusing me of being bitter, a whore, and urging me to grow up and get over my jealousy. Even my mother expressed her disappointment in me. Feeling overwhelmed, I sought solace in my parents' liquor cabinet and got drunk. When my parents returned home, the conversation was disjointed and tense. My father wouldn't even look at me, and my mother and I kept talking past each other. She refused to believe that I had been instructed to wear white, which left me confused. Finally, she mentioned everything else that happened, and I was baffled. It was only then that she revealed Bella's elaborate scheme to paint me as mentally unstable and infatuated with Barrett. Bella had concocted a web of lies and turned my family and friends against me over the past few months. My boyfriend apparently dumped me because of my feelings for Barrett. Lie. He cheated, and I dumped him. I told Bella that she needs to choose between me and Barrett. Never happened. I told Bella that I couldn't be in the wedding party because I couldn't support her marriage given that Barrett was meant for me. Lie. I had a major meltdown before the engagement party, and that's why I wasn't there. On and on. Lies on top of lies. In all of these stories, Bella has painted herself as the patient, long-suffering friend trying to deal with a friend clearly going through a tough time. She expressed understanding for my unrequited love for Barrett and empathized with how hard it must be for me to see her marry the love of my life, and has made great efforts to try to sustain our friendship despite how complicated the situation is. The lie has been going on so long, my mom literally did not believe me. Finally, I grabbed my phone and handed it to her and told her to go through my text messages with Bella. Asked her to show me any evidence of any of that happening. It was when she was scrolling through reading our messages that she saw the picture of the white dress I had sent Bella with her thumbs up on it. I had completely forgotten about it. The lack of ultimatums or Barrett drama in our text messages, along with the picture of the approved dress, completely convinced my mom. She was appalled that she had been misled by a false narrative. She immediately called my dad into the room to explain the situation. My dad is not someone you want to upset, and we had to put in a lot of effort to calm him down so he wouldn't go next door and tear the house from its foundation. My mom still thinks I was inconsiderate for assuming I could wear white to a wedding without checking with the other bridesmaids first, which was part of my responsibility as a member of the bridal party. I admit that I should have confirmed this, but it doesn't change the fact that I never intended to hurt Bella. She has been setting me up for failure for months, and the next day, feeling the effects of multiple hangovers, I shared screenshots of my call history with Bella and the text showing the approved dress with several people. Unfortunately, my profession as a graphic designer led some to believe that I photoshopped the image. Believe me, if I had wanted to fabricate evidence, it would have been much more convincing than just someone liking a photo. Hardly anyone believes me except for my parents and one of the other bridesmaids, who was a friend of Bella's from college. She was present during the dress incident and reached out to me on social media to say that she could tell from the shocked expression on my face that I was being truthful. According to her, Bella had a severe case of COVID-19 earlier in the year, and ever since then, she had undergone a significant personality change, becoming unkind and self-centered. She described the wedding events as dreadful and Bella's behavior as monstrous, and she planned to cut off contact with her now that it was all over. Before I delve into the details, I want to address a concern that many readers have expressed regarding my parents. Some have questioned why my mother, upon hearing disparaging remarks about me, did not reach out or confront me. The reason is complex and deeply rooted in our family dynamics. I am an apostate, having left the religion in which my parents raised me, a faith that Bella is still actively involved in, thus giving her a level of credibility in their eyes. My political views also diverge from theirs. From their perspective, my departure from the religious path they hold dear marked me as a sinner capable of any manner of wrongdoing, as I had turned my back on the principles they hold sacred. It's important to understand that this perception extends beyond my immediate family and is shared by the broader religious community in our town. Despite these fundamental differences, I have endeavored to maintain a relationship with my parents, who are my only family as I am an only child. However, our interactions have been strained, with a palpable sense of distance between us. For instance, I chose not to confide in them about the details of my recent breakup, as doing so would only reinforce their preconceived notions about me. This lack of open communication also explains why I have not visited them in the past year. Moreover, I had assumed that the strained relationship between Bella and me over the past year was influenced by these factors. I refrained from addressing this earlier, as many have pointed out that my initial post was already lengthy, and I apologize in advance for the length of this one. I anticipated that the events surrounding the wedding would further strain my relationship with my parents. Unexpectedly, however, it has had the opposite effect, drawing us closer together. It seems that many of their strong opinions about me were influenced by concerns about how my departure from the church would reflect on them within the community. However, now that the community has turned against me and the worst has happened, they have rallied to support me. In recent months, they have waged a kind of holy war within their church on my behalf. This unexpected show of solidarity has cemented the realization that my parents do indeed care about me, despite our differences. In a way, this terrible event has been a blessing. Much of the awkwardness that had permeated our interactions over the past year has dissipated, and it truly feels like they have chosen to stand by me. We had a wonderful holiday together, and in this sense, I am grateful for what has transpired. Following the wedding and subsequent fallout, I took the advice of others and shared a screen recording of my text messages with Bella, dating back several months, to counter her narrative that I was unstable. I also provided an explanation of my side of the story. This resulted in the emergence of 3 distinct groups. My high school friends, who were predominantly religious and had been influenced by Bella, did not support me, except for one bridesmaid who had already reached out to me. My college friends, who were closer to me, readily accepted the evidence and revealed that Bella had spoken negatively about me behind my back, which was surprising but also comforting as I value these relationships. The college friends closer to Barrett showed indifference, seemingly uninterested in engaging with the evidence due to their aversion to drama. While they did not express hostility towards me, they also did not offer any support. As for Bella's extended family, I have given up on them. Despite attempting to speak to Bella's parents during Christmas, they refused to open the door, and a letter I left in their mailbox went unacknowledged. In general, things have settled into a new normal, allowing me to focus on my life and work as I strive to move forward. During the holidays, I spent time with my parents and found solace in the simplicity of life. On January 1st, I logged into an old email account that had been dormant for some time in order to reset a password. As part of my digital New Year's housekeeping, I began sifting through old messages with the intention of closing the account permanently. It was during this process that I stumbled upon an email from my ex, the subject line reading, "I win." The impact of seeing that message was indescribable. It was like a gut punch that lingers even as I write about it now. My ex, whom I'll refer to as Matthew, had initially been the ideal boyfriend until his behavior took a drastic turn. Following our first year of dating, he became excessively controlling, dictating my clothing choices, dietary habits, social interactions, and even my online presence. His manipulation was subtle and insidious, gradually chipping away at my self-worth. However, when I discovered his infidelity, I awakened to the reality of the situation and managed to extricate myself from the relationship. The aftermath of our breakup was a nightmare. He adamantly refused to accept it, going so far as to install tracking software on my phone and surveil my movements by bugging my car. He also coerced individuals at my workplace into reporting on my activities. I felt trapped and constantly under threat. unable to escape his reach. The situation became even more harrowing when he used my dog as leverage and continued to appear uninvited despite my efforts to evade him. Despite seeking help from law enforcement, their hands were tied as his actions did not constitute physical violence, and he was careful not to leave behind written evidence of his threats. For months, I lived in a state of terror, haunted by the fear of his reappearance. After making changes to my job, phone number, address, and email account, and setting my social media profiles to private, I overlooked one crucial detail: blocking him. The I win email arrived the day after my wedding. In it, he claimed to have grown close to Bella after our breakup and referred to himself as the architect of my demise. He admitted to stoking Bella's paranoia about me and Barrett and revealed their plan to punish me. He insisted that losing everyone important in my life was what I deserved and audaciously proposed getting back together. His delusional arrogance left me reeling, and I struggled to regain my composure. After falling apart for a few days, my mom helped me piece myself back together and now knows all about Matthew's actions. She connected me with a family friend who is an attorney and is currently assisting me in filing for a restraining order against Matthew. I had attempted this during the stalking period but was unable to afford legal representation and was denied. I am hopeful that with the email evidence and proper legal representation, the restraining order will be granted this time. However, the hearing is still a couple of weeks away, and it will be conducted over Zoom, giving Matthew a chance to participate. The thought of seeing him, even just on a screen, fills me with terror. If you are reading this, Matthew, know that I am not so terrified that I wouldn't defend myself if you ever come near me again. After ensuring my own safety, I came to the realization that I had concrete evidence that the wedding incident was a setup, despite my urge to publicize it. My lingering shame about being in an abusive relationship held me back. Instead, I chose to share the evidence with Barrett along with a brief explanation. However, Barrett did not respond to the email. I can only speculate about what unfolded in Bella and Barrett's household, but I do know that 2 nights later, Bella drove drunk to my parents' house and accidentally ran over their mailbox while attempting to park. When my parents confronted her, she launched into a drunken tirade, accusing me of being a homewrecker. It became apparent that Barrett had left her, and her parents were called over from next door to take her home. My father noted their deep embarrassment. While some may celebrate Bella's misfortune as karma, I cannot bring myself to do so. Having experienced Matthew's manipulative nature firsthand, I understand how easy it is to fall for his facade. Like me, Bella's happiness has been shattered by Matthew. Although I struggle to blame her now that I know he was orchestrating events, she still made her own choices. I have no intention of reconciling with her. Anyone connected to Matthew is someone I must keep at a distance for my own safety. Bella will need to find her own way back to a better place. Meanwhile, there's an opportunity for a managerial role on my team in another country. Although it would mean further separation from my family, my boss believes it would be a step up for me. Perhaps being in an entirely new country could offer me a sense of security that feels unattainable in my current surroundings. This might be the next chapter for me, although I'm not entirely sure. Who do you think is right in this situation? Write about it in the comments. Let's get 1,000 subscribers together. Love you.